Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. It's week 5, NFL predictions. We got a lot of turmoil. We got a lot of picks to go through and see how well we can do. But first of all, Smokey, how are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm better than the Titans right now, huh?
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Man, it looks like they may not play again this week. This is crazy.
They're talking about actually having them forfeit the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
which would be an unprecedented situation.
Yeah. It's either that or you throw the whole season out of whack. Like, how else could you work it?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you can't have a team have 2 bye weeks back to back.
Exactly. You can't have double headers in football. Like when baseball, they just made it up later, you know, and it didn't really matter. But can't do that in football. Basically.
No, season's on a tight schedule, so we'll see how that goes. How is our overall standings looking after week 4?
Oh man, you made one game on me this last week. What was it?
That's good.
10-11, and I feel like
I'd say that's all right.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Let me see. Did we agree on the Steelers Titans? Yeah, we did. We both agreed on that game, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Right now, I have 41.5, and you have 40.5.
So it's close. That's what I like to hear. I'm going to make up another point this week, and I'll be tired. Maybe I'll make 2 points, and I'll just win.
Or you lose.
I would not mind it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I do, but I think I'm pretty confident, actually. I think I got some good picks that you're not thinking of, and I think I know what I'm doing this week. So are you ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Start on Thursday night. Bucks at Bears. Both teams 3-1.
Both teams 3-1, but one team looks much better than the other team. Now the Bears, I don't think the Bears are for real. I know people are trying to convince us that the Bears are for real, but they threw Nick Foles out there, and Nick Foles couldn't save them. So what are they? They're going to throw Trubisky back out there? I mean, how is this going to work? I don't know. I don't think they have the quarterback to do this, to tell you the truth. In the starter or the backup, whoever that may be. I think they are probably going to shoot for, a Justin Fields next year or something, to tell you the truth. I think Tom Brady has this offense running exactly like he had the Patriots offense running. Now, he is low on receivers at this point in time because everybody's injured on the Bucs. But yet they are still winning by enormous margins. I'm going to go with the Bucs to win by an enormous margin.
It seemed like everyone forgot that the Bears were 3-0 coming into the week with a quarterback change, and then the new quarterback instantly lost the game. Stat-wise, it looks really weird why they would go with Nick Foles. But here's the other thing, right? Nick Foles beats Brady. We know that historically, right? So maybe are we going to see another Rocky story, another underdog story? I don't really believe the team around it as much. Buccaneers can run the ball like crazy, have a great running game, and as good as the Bears' defense is, they're not going to be able to keep up with that. If the Buccaneers have the ball for 35 to even 40 minutes throughout the game, they're going to win the game. I agree with you. They're going to go into Chicago, but still, I think they'll win. Go to 4-1, and I think we really underestimated this running game for Tampa Bay coming into the season.
Yeah, I think so, man. But I don't think that we're going to keep seeing Ronald Jones being thrown out there to drop passes, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I think our guy from, where is he from? Vanderbilt. Yeah, I think he's going to be thrown out there as the starter at some point. If Leonard Fournette doesn't come back before then. Keyshawn Vaughn, that's his name. Yeah.
Maybe a third down back at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at least that. I mean, he scored a touchdown this past game, so, he may have Bruce Arians' confidence there.
Well, we both agree on the Buccaneers here. Next one, got the Rams at the Footballs. What do you got?
At the Footballs. There's nothing really to say about this. The football team is horrible. Oh, God. Did they make a quarterback change? I think so, right?
Yes. Kyle Allen will be starting. Alex Smith is one step closer to his NFL return.
Jesus Christ, man. If you lost your job to Kyle Allen, You are in a horrible situation. I think it's over for Dwayne Haskins, man. I think it's over. Now, Kyle Allen there, we know that he can support... I'm just talking fantasy here for a second. We know that he can support a number one receiver, so if you have Terry McLaurin, that'd be nice. Enough of that, though. The Rams are going to go to the footballs and beat the footballs out of the footballs.
I would have to agree with exactly the statement that you just made in every single word you used there. Rams can run the ball still better than I expected without Todd Gurley. And they have... First, Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson who stepped up, and they're playing the game that they want to play. Defense is good, and they're going to run it down Washington's throat, and they're going to win the game. I would not be surprised if it was closer than a lot of people project, because new quarterback, typically, a breath of fresh air. And we know Kyle Allen is always good for a big surprise. He's kind of like the Nick Foles, like Ryan Fitzpatrick sort of guy, right? Wherever... Yeah. Every once in a while, he can go crazy, throw 4 touchdowns and win. But I don't see it happen. Rams seem too solid to me. And this team in Washington is having a lot of troubles. Dwayne Haskins is getting a little bit of the Josh Rosen treatment right now, and he might end up on a different team next year, the way it's looking right now. So I will agree with you. I'll take the Rams. How about Buffalo at Tennessee? Now, how do we approach this one?
If the game happens...
If the game happens.
Yeah. I think this looks good for Josh Allen, the MVP, to be, because if they do play, he's the guys haven't practiced in 2 weeks. So that's one step for the Bills in the Bills' favor there. Now, Josh Allen is looking like a superhero right now. We know that, and he's having his Cam Newton season. I don't know who could have saw that one coming, but...
I don't know. No one could have predicted that. I wish we were that smart.
So random and out of the blue. I don't know who would have figured that out. But the Titans, they've been looking great when they have played. I just don't think, even being in Tennessee, if this game does happen, the Titans won't be ready. And if it doesn't happen, they may make them forfeit whatever they're going to do here. I got the Bills taking this either way.
Yeah, easy pick. I'll take Buffalo too. Exactly what you said. Titans are ready. They're not allowed to practice. If they can't practice, they might as well forfeit. That's just how it goes. And they're blaming them for hosting workouts outside of team facility when team facility activities are supposed to be closed. You might as well forfeit. If you can't practice, can't have OTAs, you can't win games. And this organization is going through everything except football right now. Buffalo's looking great. Your MVP elect Josh Allen still playing out of his mind. I actually want him to play this game. Here's why. I don't want to forfeit because that essentially gives him just 15 games of stats, right? For Josh Allen to make his MVP case.
True.
So
yes,
they will put him behind Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson a little bit. So I'm hoping the game happens. Always want to see the games being played. Buffalo is looking really good. They might be the second best team in the AFC at the moment. And that says a lot. So I'll add the Bills to win no matter how the game actually goes or if it happens at all. Eagles at Steelers.
Man, the Eagles got to win. Oh, that hurts, don't it?
They did. I don't know why Carson Wentz had to do it then, like instead of any other game. I know he could do it. It's always in the back of your mind, right? You got Carson Wentz. He's a top 5 upside. He could do it.
Yeah. Well, the first half of the game, he didn't look like he was going to do it, but he turned it on there at the end. But anyway, the Steelers, they've been practicing, right? I mean, there's no reason they wouldn't have practiced with their week off. They don't have the COVID positives that Titans had. So the Eagles, I mean, yes, they looked good for one half of a game, and that was about it. I mean, they still don't have a lot of offensive weapons. They still have a horrible O-line. The Steelers still have a humongous D-line that will run right over them and get to Carson Wentz every time he gets the ball. I kind of feel sorry for him in this game. I'm going to take the Steelers and Big Ben to come back off the week off and wipe the floor with the Eagles.
Oh, we would have said the very similar thing about last week's game, though, with Philly, didn't we? But Carson Wentz managed to scramble. He got pressure on him, but he managed to scramble and make plays outside of the pocket. Is he going to do it against Pittsburgh? I don't think so, because he might make the same type of plays, and if he plays at his best, he can score the same amount of points. But that Pittsburgh offense is a lot healthier than the 49ers offense was, especially at the quarterback position, with Nick Mullins having the worst game of his career. Easily. So it wasn't really the defense for San Francisco that lost the game. If you deal with Carson Wentz, you're going to give up 25. You have to expect that. Even if he doesn't have his starting offensive line, he's that good. But you have to outscore him, and you didn't. You didn't use your chances. You turned the football over 3 times to 1. You can't do that. Pittsburgh, not going to happen. Big Ben is more experienced. He's going to manage the game. Understand they have an advantage on defense. They might have even an advantage in the run game. So I'll take Pittsburgh. I think they're a little bit more solid and a little bit healthier than San Francisco was last week. Plus, this was may have been the best we get to see out of the Eagles. This probably was about their top performance. So I'll have my doubts for now. Cardinals at the Jets.
Man, Cardinals, you guys let me down. You know, not that I love the Cardinals. I just thought they were much better. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Cardinals at this time. I don't know why they can't use Kenyon Drake anymore. What's going on here, man? Like last year, you're using your running backs. You got this weird like option offense running. You know, you're able to run all over the field. I mean, I'll give it to you. Kyler Murray is still running, but their running backs are not running. I don't know what happened. Like, the running backs are just useless at this point. But if Kyler Murray has to run the ball to win, he's probably not going to win that often against decent offenses and better. But maybe Hopkins, comes back into play for him. Maybe he starts hitting him more downfield. I don't know. Either way, they got ran over by the Panthers, and that's gotta suck. But this is the Jets, and the Panthers are a lot better than the Jets. The Jets really suck. And Flacco is going to be starting from what I hear. So even that's worse than our man, if you ask me, man. I'm going with the Cards to wipe up the Jets here.
The Jets have one good player on their team at the moment. It's okay, let's take Frank Gore out of the equation. They have one really good player that could make a difference on the team, and he's hurt, and he's out. Adam Gase has a job. It is... I don't understand it. I'm assuming you don't either. He might not next week, and you get Joe Flacco starting, presumably, for this bunch of a team. This is going to be a practice game. It's going to be a scrimmage for Arizona. Everything else would surprise me quite a bit. And they should rebound. They looked really good. They played exceptionally well. The first 2 weeks kind of fell off. Weeks 3 and 4, they should bounce back here. If they manage to lose to the Jets somehow, without Sam Darnold, there's no saving the Cardinals. They have to win the game. And I would bet a lot of money on that. But maybe I even will. I'll take the Cardinals here. No big question. Got the frauds, that is the Raiders, at the Kansas City Chiefs.
At the Chiefs. Now, the blueprint has been laid on how you slow down this offense, and Belichick and the Patriots did that. They laid it all out. They're like, this is how you slow them down.
Listen. The blueprint was laid out in the Super Bowl. That Bill Belichick didn't figure out how to stop this offense. He wasn't the first one to do it.
Yeah, but for neither one of those guys did it actually work out in the end. So, we'll say this. The Chiefs, here's the blueprint. Here's how to do it. Too bad these offenses that figured out how to do it are anemic and couldn't score enough to beat them in the end. But the Raiders also have that same anemic offense when it comes to a mediocre or better defense. And I do think the Chiefs' defense is at least middle of the pack, dead in the middle. Like, especially, they're pretty strong in the middle of the field there. I don't see Derek Carr doing a whole lot. He's not going to put the team on his back and win. The Chiefs are going to take this one easily at home.
I will agree with the result. I will say for one, the Raiders were 2-0 after 2 weeks. Everyone said they were good. I said they were frauds. They are now at 500. So I appreciate that everything has come back to its natural way as it's supposed to be. Raiders sitting at 500 with all the hype they're getting. What I like to see. That being said, they're going to go to 2-3. So they're going to have a losing record after this week. The Chiefs going to win it. I will say, Patriots did a good job. I looked at halftime. It was like 6-3, and nothing happened at all. And holding this offense to 6 points in a half is a masterpiece. And you know what? New England could have won this game if they had Cam Newton. They would have legitimately won the game if they had Cam Newton. And there was nothing more precious, of course, than listening to Tony Romo commenting on Brian Hoyer's game. It was just a perfect match. But Cam Newton would have won that game. Now, Kansas City is still unbeaten. This is, of course, the frauds. They're much, much worse than the Patriots. As we saw in Week 3, Patriots were the first to expose them, and now they're clashing. It's going to be a divisional win for the Chiefs, and it shouldn't be too hard. I think the Raiders are going to rely on the run game, maybe keep it closer in terms of the point spread, but they're not going to be a real danger to win the game. Jaguars at Texans. Winless Texans.
And the one-win Jags. Coachless Texans. That's the bright spot in all this. You know, they got a dark cloud hanging over them, but the sun has finally shone through. And I wish it would happen to the Falcons also. But let's leave that. Texans, man. Texans, this happens a lot, though. When you change coaches, you do get that 2-game bump. It happens all the time. So, the Jags being who they are, good running team, a decent passing team, horrible defense, one of the worst. The Texans should be able to score at will on the Jags. And the Texans being at home, I'm going to give this one to the Texans. I'm not really confident because the Jags, even though their record doesn't show it, they can really beat a lot of teams in this league, but it's hard to tell by the record. But I do think the Texans get that 2-game bump, so I'm going to give it to the Texans here.
So 2 things. First of all, I already win the first bet for this year. I said one coach gets fired before week 8. Bill O'Brien got fired before week 5. So that's a win in my book. I will take that. And we even predicted that it might be Bill O'Brien, actually. So we got that one right. And if you want to, I will double down on the bet, though, and give you another one. There's going to be another coach being fired before week 9. If you want, you can think about it if you want to take that.
Well,
or not.
Because Adam Gase has to go in the next day or two. Now, I don't expect Dan Quinn to go in the next week or so because Arthur Blank is very stubborn on firing coaches. We've seen that. But he's got to go before the end of the season. But Adam Gase has to be gone. Like, I don't see how he makes it to week 6. Like, it's just not possible. If it is, what the hell is going on?
They have to win, right? They have to somehow win, which they're not going to against Arizona. This game, that being said, I have no idea who to pick in this game. I'll be completely honest. Jacksonville has a win. Houston has looked better. The other thing that I wanted to mention is Houston got worse every game. Their best game was week 1, and they got worse every game after that. And now Bill O'Brien's gone. And you mentioned that fresh air that's coming in with the new coach. Even though nothing really changes in terms of scheme, well, let's be honest, you can't implement an offensive playbook over 3 days into a new weekend at all. It's all about the mentality, right? The morale of the team. And I think I will agree with you, and it's going to take the Texans to a win against Jacksonville. It might as well not, but I'm going to say it will. I think Jacksonville, we overrated them a little bit after week 1. They look a lot more like we expected them to do initially. They somehow fluked the win out against the Colts, and we thought they were really good. I had Gardner Minshew like, man, he might be an MVP kind of candidate after 2 weeks because he played so well. But the record isn't showing it. Just similar like Dak Prescott, really. Record he's lacking the wins. So I'll say the Texans take it. Deshaun Watson makes it happen, but it's not looking like a good season. And consider this, the Miami Dolphins have both the Texans' first-round draft picks for next year. And they're looking better than Houston right now. So potentially dark times ahead. Yeah, potentially dark times ahead for Houston there. So I'll take them to win this one. Not a strong believer. Bengals and Ravens.
Bengals at Ravens. Man, the Bengals are looking better every single week. They're the opposite of the Texans. They're actually getting better. But are they good enough to beat the Ravens? I don't think so, man. Although, like I did predict, there has to be regression for Lamar Jackson, and it has happened. You know, I mean, he's not nearly as good as he was last season. But he's still good enough. I mean, he's still good enough to carry this team to over 10 wins. And, you know, that defense is amazing, which doesn't hurt at all. I got to take the Ravens defense over a rookie quarterback, even though the Bengals are getting better and Joe Burrow looks legit. He looks like the real deal. But
he is the real deal. He is the real deal. All right. You know what? I need to pick. I gotta make some upset picks. This show's getting boring. Give me the Bengals. I'll take Cincinnati in this one. It's the breakthrough game. The Ravens have shown weakness in certain aspects of the game. The Bengals are going to step up. Joe Mixon is stepping up. Joe Burrow is stepping up. And the Ravens are going to lose a close game at home. And it's going to be turning heads. And it's going to alert everyone to the fact that the Bengals are back in the football business. Last time the Bengals played football was like 2008, but they're playing football again, and I'm excited to see it. Joe Burrow is ahead of his curve, really, as a rookie quarterback. He's one of the best players on that team, and the team wasn't very good initially, but they've gotten better every game, like you mentioned. Week 5 is the breakthrough, and they're going to beat Baltimore. It's a bold prediction, I understand that, but I will do it for the sake of entertainment. Got the Panthers at your Falcons.
Man, you can't lose them all, can you? I mean, come on, guys. Here's the thing. Maybe we're going to disagree on this one, I'm sure. Because, I don't know. I'm debating whether it's that point in the season where Dan Quinn tries to save his job now. Or if we haven't quite got there yet. Maybe we need 7 to 8 losses to get to that point. But with that, the Panthers... They do look better. Their offense is better. Their defense is worse. Their offense is better. They still don't have Christian McCaffrey. This is in Atlanta. The Falcons can't lose them all. There's a few things that are pointing me toward. I'm really scared of Teddy Bridgewater now, which is a horrible thing to say, but he really scares me at this point because that defense would get ran over by Joe Flacco right now. I'm going to take the Falcons. I think they win one, and Dan Quinn holds on to his job for a little while longer.
So you think we're going to disagree on that one, huh? I think you underestimate my stubbornness, just kind of like your own. I will take Atlanta. This is, by the way, the 5th week in a row that we're taking Atlanta. And you know what? I'm going to make a promise here. If they lose again, I'm not going to keep taking them every single week. So they're 4-0. I've gave away 4 points on the Falcons. I will take them one more time. I know I said one more time last week, but that was different. This is one more time. And Carolina has the better record. They have the worst team. They don't have Christian McCaffrey. It's all about when are the Falcons going to start living up to the roster talent that they have. And you mentioned that that rebound effect that Dan Quinn is going to need at some point throughout the season to start winning games to actually save his job. And it might be that time. It might be that time because Houston set a precedent for firing an established coach early in the season. Maybe Dan Quinn is feeling his seat get a little bit hotter this week. So I think he's going to get his guys together and they're going to beat divisional rivals. Always a bit different if you're playing in the division. I wouldn't be surprised to see them beat the Saints later down the line, for example, and the Bucs. But I'm going to say it starts here. They're going to beat Carolina, and we're going to be proven right eventually if we keep picking them. No, that's not what I'm doing. We have the Dolphins at the Niners.
Before we move on, though, have you ever noticed the similarities between Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn? Like, they are very similar. One of them comes from Belichick's side. One of them comes from Pete Carroll's side. You know, those guys, I mean, that's like the Capulets and the Montagues right there. But they're so similar. They both took over the teams around the same time. They both have a similar record overall. It's crazy. Both defensive-minded coaches from defensive-minded trees. Yeah,
they're both underachieving, always with talented rosters.
Yeah. Both of them had dominant defenses, like extremely dominant Super Bowl winning defenses as defensive coordinators, though. But they can't seem to do it as head coaches. All right, let's move on. 49ers and Dolphins. Man, I feel bad for your 49ers, dude. They looked horrible, and I don't know. I don't think Nick Mullins is the best backup in the league anymore. I mean, not that I said it in the beginning. I mean, you know, now that I thought about it, I don't think that would go to Nick Foles. I think it would go to Jameis Winston, to tell you the truth. He's probably the best backup in the league.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually.
Yeah. But anyway, 49ers. Who's going to start at quarterback? You tell me that. Is he back? Is Jimmy G back?
I'll tell you when you make your pick. You make your pick first. I'm not going to give you anything.
I'm going to go for Jimmy G being back, and the Dolphins take this one. I mean, the 49ers take this one because it's in San Francisco. But if Jimmy G is not back, I would much rather go with the Dolphins here.
He better be back. I mean, I think he could have, if the need were there, he could have been back against Philly. And they decided not to play him at the Giants or against Philly because they thought they were going to be easy wins. Now, they got burned doing that by Carson Wentz heroics. They can't afford to keep him out another game if he's even at 90%, because Nick Mullins played the worst game of his career. CJ Beathard looked better in the end, but that was mostly garbage time. And I think you have to play Jimmy. If he's healthy, you have to play Jimmy. Once again, goes to show how valuable he is to this team. If he's back, this team is going to look very, very different. George Kittle came back from injury, 183 yards, receiving, a touchdown, highest graded player in the league for week 4. Easy pickings. He's still great, but you need your quarterback back. You cannot be throwing a pick 6 to a hook zone linebacker on first and 10 from your own 25 whenever you're 5 points down in the game. Doesn't work that way. So you have to start your quarterback, the guy that you pay $140 million, and because you can't stop underachieve. This is 2-2. This is not going to fly because this division is very competitive. If you thought you're going to just cruise through the season like last year, that's not going to happen. People get hurt, and you have to keep playing. Richard Sherman coming back soon, which is good. The receiving core is healthy. Brandon Ayuk's looking like a standout, and I'm glad people are finally getting healthy. But you have to start playing up to your standards, which is double-digit wins and a playoff berth. So Jimmy has to be back. He better be back. And with that being said, they're going to beat Miami, provided Jimmy starts. If he doesn't start, it might be a closer game than I would like to admit. I'll give you that. But I'm thinking he has to start. He's supposed to practice today, so he should be starting. I'll have faith in that decision. How about the Giants at the Cowboys?
Man, according to stats, the Cowboys has the best offense in the entire NFL. Their record does not reflect that at all. That means their defense is down there with the Falcons' defense. Cowboys are not winning, man. But guess who's not winning more? The Giants. So, man, I don't know. Like, the only thing that the Giants are putting together is a few runs by Danny Dimes. He's not even Danny Dimes anymore. You know, man, I don't know. They look so bad. I had high hopes for him. But on the other hand, I mean, the Browns just ran right over it. Dude, 500 passing yards. How do you put up 500 passing yards and still lose by 11 points? How does that even possible?
Garbage time,
Yeah.
all-star.
Yeah, well, that's what he's done the whole season so far. Like, every game, even the games they've won, it's all been in the last quarter for some reason. I guess he's been jealous of what Tom Brady does or something. I don't know. Dak Prescott, though, I mean, I think he's still a legit quarterback that is never going to get paid to be a legit quarterback, obviously. But this is in Dallas. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this one. They can't lose this. I mean, even if it happens in the fourth quarter, they can't lose this game, right?
I'll say this. I think Dak's got to get paid next year. I mean, he's going to walk into the office with a piece of paper with his numbers on in hand, and he's going to say to Jerry, "Listen, I can prove to you statistically I'm the only guy who kept you in games," which is, I guess, true. But let it be stat padding as much as you want. But he drove for 500 yards in an NFL game. That is something. And he is the most likely person to deflect blame when it comes to negotiations. Let's say it like that. So I think he's going to get paid. If not Dallas, someone else will. Now, this is my personal favorite game of the week for wanting to root for the upset, because there'll be nothing better than if the Giants actually win this game in Dallas.
Yeah.
The winless Giants. That would just be the best thing ever. I can't pick it, though. It just seems not right. The Cowboys still have the offensive firepower, and typically the games that they end up losing were close. They go to fourth quarter comebacks, but they lose the game anyway because they went down to too big of a deficit. That's not going to happen against New York. The Giants are going to put up 30 points in a half. They don't have the offensive talent. Without Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones is the only one in this offense to make plays, so that's not happening. And they're going to get to him. He's a pocket quarterback. He's got to get hit early, and the Cowboys are going to win the game. Giants, I don't know what to think about them. I'll give Joe Judge more time. It's his first year as a head coach, but it's not looking good at all at the moment. So I'll take the Cowboys. Colts at Browns.
Man, you remember at the beginning of the season, I told you about the post-hype sleepers, the Browns, right? You know, everybody's on them the year before, so they lose, and then the next year, nobody's on them, so they win. After the first game of the season, I was like, well, that didn't work out for this season. Now I'm like, maybe it's going to work out. Like, they look decent, right? I mean, they beat the Cowboys, but I guess that's not a huge task. This is probably their biggest task so far, I would say. Just looking back at their schedule, of course, they beat the crap out of the Washingtons, you know, and the Bengals, you know. But, okay. This is kind of tough. I mean, because the Colts are playing well also. I think the records are both 3-1, if I remember right. Yeah. So this is really tough, man. This is the toughest game on the entire slate. Because I want to believe that the Browns are going to hold up my prediction, but I also had a prediction that Phillip Rivers was going to rebound and win a lot of games with the Colts. And so far, both of those predictions are true. So when you put one prediction against another prediction, I don't know what to do here. I'm going to say that the Browns squeak out a win at home here with the Fighting Kareem Hunts.
That is a big pick. I'll say this: the Browns they've assembled a solid offense. That running game is for real, and
Yes.
Odell Beckham might have played the best game of his career. Like, he seems to be back in, and he seems to be the old OBJ, the one that makes headlines on the field, not off the field. So that is encouraging news. He caught 2 touchdowns, rushed for another. The playmakers are starting to click a little bit, and they can run the football. We know that. So they definitely have a case to make here for the win. Now I'll do this. I think they're coming off of a really, really big high. I'll take the Colts. I think they'll slump down a bit. This will be a close game. Might be an overtime kind of game. I'll take the experience of a Phillip Rivers. I'll take the Colts defensive line, the Colts offensive line. They're going to take the air out of the football a little bit if it gets too high scoring. I think they're just a better controlled team. All things considered, all phases of the game, excellent special teams. I'll take the Colts to win the game. It's going to be a close one, but I think the Browns' hype will be a little bit slowed down. Not broken up, but slowed down a little bit. Broncos at Patriots.
Okay, for the Patriots losing that game, I imagine right now they are all standing in a line, bent over, and Belichick is going down the line just paddling them with this giant wooden paddle, like just whack all the way down the line, and they're all just tears, coming out, little snot bubbles coming up, and I think that's what's happening to the Patriots right now. So when they get to this game against the Broncos, who only look good because they played the Jets and a third string quarterback, that looked like a third string quarterback when he got out there, the Patriots are going to be mad. And the Broncos are not going to know what to do in New England. So the only thing that I can say is that the Patriots are going to blow out the Broncos in this one. I don't see this game even being anywhere near close. If it is, I fear for the Patriots the rest of the season. But I think they're going to be pissed off, and they are going to bring it to the Broncos.
Now, I'll say the image you painted there of what's probably going on in New England this week, that seems like way too realistic, the way you said it. I think that's exactly, Belichick is a classic 1950s school teacher. I would agree with that. So I believe that's exactly what's going on. Even with Brian Hoyer starting for you, the Broncos might score no points in this game. All things considered, Patriots will bounce back. It might not be a blowout, but it'll only be limited by how many points New England can actually score. Without Cam Newton, they might win it 9-0, but they might also win it 28-0. So, not particularly close. I have the Patriots. And I will agree with you. They're not going to lose back-to-back games, especially not this one at home against the weak Broncos team. Vikings at Seahawks.
Man, Vikings look better. They do. They need to open up that passing game. Like, I know everybody said it last season also. Like, they're stuck with this run game when it's, as far as I've seen, Kirk Cousins is a great passer. Like, he's a great throwing quarterback, but they love the run game there, and you have a really good running back to do it with, but you also have some decent receivers, and Justin Jefferson looks like he's legit at the moment. So if they open up this passing game, then I could see the Vikings continue to improve, but I don't think they can improve at that much in this game to beat the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks are on fire. Russell Wilson's making his MVP run. Let Russ cook and all that other jazz. So I think the Seahawks are going to win this at home.
Man, I'll have to agree with you. Don't like it, but I'll have to. They're at home. They're playing really well. They're opening up the pass game. The Vikings are getting better, but they're not really there yet. They 1-3 record. I think Seattle is going to keep winning these games. It's going to be interesting to see once the NFC West divisional games finally happen, because anything can happen there. We saw that week 1. So once they start playing the Rams and the Niners, and those teams are hopefully healthy at that point. That's going to be more interesting games. I think they'll beat the Vikings. I think this division in the West is just a step above all the other ones at the moment. Though the NFC North, frankly, might be the second best division in the NFC, as the South is kind of fallen off a little bit below expectations. But I will agree with you on that one too. I got Seattle to take it in an easy one. Wouldn't mind the upset at all, but I certainly won't pick it. And here's my personal favorite, or my candidate for, you said the hardest game to pick was the Colts and Browns. I'm going to say this is the hardest game to pick for me. Chargers at Saints on Monday night.
I can see that. This is just as hard, if not, maybe it edges it out. Because the Saints are not the Saints of old. This is, if Michael Thomas comes back, I do expect Drew Brees to improve. I do, he that's his safety blanket. And he didn't have Jared Cook out there at some point, so, it's been tough for him lately. He doesn't have those middle of the field slant routes and, over the middle passes that he loves to do. He can't throw downfield anymore. This is not Marcus Colston days. You're not going to see Drew Brees just load up and fire them downfield all of a sudden. And if he doesn't have really big bodies in the middle of the field who can catch every one of those passes, he's not the same Drew Brees. But I do think he will be salvageable later in the season. I'm hoping right here, this is where Michael Thomas comes back in this game. The Chargers, we all believe in Justin Herbert. Yes, he's great. He's going to be a great passer. He'll probably be a better passer in this league eventually than Drew Brees ever was. That's a lot to say. And I'm not saying he's going to have the longevity and, win as many games as Drew Brees has. But I think he will be a better pure passing quarterback than Drew Brees eventually. As long as he stays on the trajectory that he's on and, doesn't hit some roadblock and fall off. Man, Chargers have a good defense. Saints have a good defense. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. And probably not one that you really want to see in prime time when this is all said and done. We will go, wow, why couldn't we have changed that out for something else? But I'm going to give it to the Saints at home.
I think there's one factor we didn't really talk about, and I'll mention it here. You look at defense, yes, both good defenses, so they're pretty equal in that. Quarterback-wise, Drew Brees having a down year. Justin Herbert a lot further along than we thought. He's really, really good. I'd say they're about on an equal playing field there in terms of quarterbacks. But here's the thing. Running backs, the running game. Austin Eckler gets hurt, and Alvin Kamara is the best offensive player throughout 4 weeks. He seems completely unstoppable. He's gaining yards in all sorts of ways, and I think that's going to make the difference. Being able to control the clock and run the football and tire out that defensive line, which specializes in rushing the passer, by the way, and you're not going to subjugate Drew Brees to dropping back 50 times this game because you're not looking for a shootout. This Saints team is not the shootout team anymore. They want to run the ball because Alvin Kamara is their best player. So that's what the focus is going to be on. The Chargers won't be able to match that. Justin Herbert, will probably play a better game than Drew Brees, all things considered, but it's not going to be enough. I'll take the Saints in a close one, but I will say it would not surprise me in the slightest if the Chargers were able to pull this off. I thought I gave the Lions a legitimate shot against New Orleans, and they took it for the most part, and then they completely they blew it away for no reason whatsoever. I think Chargers are a better team than the Lions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but I'll take the Saints on the back of Alvin Kamara to make it because he is just too dominant right now. So we have the Packers and Lions on bye week. Aaron Rodgers is going to sit on at home, talk some more trash. I know you're a bit mad at him probably for the stuff that he pulled against Atlanta.
No, I like him, man.
People to jump by literally yelling hard count at the line of scrimmage.
Dude, I don't know. That defense is just horrible, and he proved it. But that little dance in the end zone by himself, that was funny.
So he's going to be back next week. He's going to be well rested and continue his MVP campaign. To me, I mentioned this week several times. It's really down to Allen, Rodgers, and Russell Wilson at this point. I said Dak Prescott has the numbers but lacks the wins. Patrick Mahomes has the wins but lacks the numbers. The Chiefs are running the football a lot this year. And it's really those three guys. It's Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, in whatever order you like. And it'll come down to record and really consistency. One thing I want to get into before we get out of here, of course, is my weekly betting advice. I have 2 bets this week, and they're both going to win 100% guaranteed, as always, except for whenever they don't, but this week they will, and you're going to make some profit on these. I have $5 on both of these bets. First one, I have the over on the Colts versus Browns game. We've seen both of those offenses be able to explode. My bookie, this is the source by the way, has the over-under at 46 points. That's not a lot of points for those teams, especially seeing what the caliber of receiver that Cleveland boasts. And I still picked the Colts to win the game, by the way. I have the over on that one. It seems like a very low standard to me. So $5 on that one. And I'll give the Falcons another break. So they are favored by 1 point against Carolina, so I might as well take them against the spread, or with the spread rather. Falcons -1, $5 on that one, so to beat the Panthers basically. Put them in the bank, 100% guaranteed wins, easy $10 profit as every week, except for whenever it isn't, but this week it is guaranteed. So, do you have anything to add for this week's scoreboard?
No, but I do want to say that on the hurry up offense, the subject this week is trade away.
I saw you try to scam me in our league a little bit with that trade.
I had to see how big of a homer you were going to be.
Yeah, you offered me Jerick McKinnon for Joe Mixon. Like I'm going to take that. Like Raheem Mostert's coming back, and I'm about to take that trade. Yeah, right. You know what?
Maybe
if he doesn't, though,
tell you, yeah, no, I should have did it the week before he decided to blow up.
Because Joe Mixon just broke out.
Yeah, exactly. But if Mostert for some reason does not get put back in as the number one running back, you got the lead there, and I think Jerick McKinnon's earned it, to tell you the truth. I mean, if I was Shanahan, I would leave Jerick McKinnon there. Yeah, I would leave him.
He's going to be in the rotation for sure.
Yeah. I'd give him the 15 touches and give Mostert 9 or 8 or whatever. That's just.
I think it would be really tough to not start Mostert given the first couple of games he had. But the Shanahan system, they're going to rotate every single drive and get the best out of everyone. And if he's not healthy, just your receivers run the ball. They're really good at it. You can Deebo Samuel, they'll run the ball. Kittle can run the ball. True. Everyone can run the ball. And if Jimmy comes back, we might throw it at him. Exactly. Yeah. So. I'm not taking that trade, obviously, but nice try. Everyone, of course, go watch the Hurry Up Offense coming up later this week on this channel, probably tomorrow, or even later tonight, for all the fantasy football news going into week 5. Couple of pieces of pro advice. If you're playing fantasy football, you want to listen to Smokey. He's the best in the business, at least that I know of. So for anyone who's interested, subscribe to the channel to not miss any of that. And we will be back next week with a player analysis, the scoreboard, and the Hurry Up Offense. All the football content you need to see throughout the week. And if we don't have anything to add, Smokey, do we have anything that you want to mention?
It.
All right, then we'll see you in the next one.
Deuces.